Hello there, it is 6 p.m. here in London and this is The World Today with me, Ben Brown. Political deadlock in Washington as a shutdown of US government looms. Who is calling the shots for the Republicans? American diplomats make their first official visit to Damascus in more than a decade for talks with the country's new leadership. A fresh search for the wreckage of MH370, the plane that mysteriously disappeared 10 years ago with 239 people on board. And also coming up for you on The World Today in the next hour, scientists in Peru discover 27 new species in the northwest of the country. And the face-off that lasted 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Now all eyes are on Usyk and Fury ahead of their big boxing rematch. Hello, welcome to The World Today. It is a race right up to the wire to prevent a US government shutdown in just a few hours' time, potentially halting many government services and leaving staff unpaid. Well, behind it all is raw politics involving President-elect Donald Trump and his right-hand man, Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. And still to come on The World Today, scientists in Peru discover 27 new species in the northwest of the country. And it's the oldest choir in the world. Care home residents with an average age of 94 singing their way into the record books around the world and across the UK. This is BBC News. The Malaysian government says it has agreed in principle to resume the search for a passenger jet that vanished 10 years ago in one of aviation's great mysteries. Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 disappeared in March of 2014. It was on its way to Beijing in China from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. 239 people in total were on board. That's Theo Leggett, our business correspondent, reporting. Plenty more to come. Do stay with us here on BBC News. Hello again, welcome back. You're watching BBC News and our latest headlines. There's political deadlock in Washington as a shutdown of the US government looms. We'll be asking who's calling the shots for the Republican Party. A BBC investigation reveals how Myanmar's military is cracking from within as spies help pro-democracy rebels make crucial gains.
On Verify today, we're sharing the data behind our investigation that reveals Myanmar's military have lost control of large parts of the country.
Here we are with a song to sing, a story to be told.
And also coming up for you, the choir with an average age of 94 singing their way into the record books to be crowned the oldest choir in the world. Some breaking news just coming into us is that Volkswagen has announced sweeping changes to its German operations, including more than 35,000 job cuts in the future and capacity reductions. It's all part of a last gasp deal between Europe's top car maker and the unions to avert mass strikes. Now, despite those cuts, the agreement was hailed as a Christmas miracle by union leaders. The deal came after 70 hours of pretty gruelling negotiations, the longest in the 87-year history of the company. There will be no immediate site closures, layoffs or wage cuts, but future job losses potentially of 35,000. So an enormously significant agreement there between Volkswagen management and the trade unions. Plenty more to come. You're watching The World Today. Do stay with us. The oldest choir in the world, care home residents with an average age of 94 sing their way into the record books around the world and across the UK. This is The World Today on BBC News. The Deputy Prime Minister of Italy, Matteo Salvini, has just been acquitted in his trial over his refusal to let a migrant rescue boat dock in 2019. He had been accused of kidnap and dereliction of duty. The boat remained at sea for 3 weeks, during which time the health of 147 migrants on board deteriorated. Eventually, a prosecutor ordered the boat to be seized and its passengers rescued. Right, much more on that coming up in the next hour or so. Plenty of other news, including the latest from Syria and that potential shutdown of US government services in Washington. So do stay with us here on BBC News. Hello there, it's 7 p.m. in London and this is The World Today with me, Ben Brown. Our latest headlines. Political deadlock in Washington as a shutdown of the US government looms. We ask who's calling the shots for the Republicans. 2 brothers have been charged with assaulting police officers during a disturbance at Manchester Airport earlier this year. A new search for the wreckage of MH370, the plane that mysteriously disappeared 10 years ago with 239 people on board. And also coming up for you here on The World Today, scientists in Peru discovered 27 new species in the northwest of the country. And the boxing face-off that lasted no less than 11 minutes and 20 seconds. Now all eyes are on Usyk and Fury ahead of their big rematch. Hello, welcome to The World Today. It's a race right up to the wire to prevent a US government shutdown in just a few hours' time, halting many services and potentially leaving many thousands of staff unpaid. Behind it all is raw politics involving President-elect Donald Trump and his right-hand man Elon Musk, the richest man in the world. And still to come here on The World Today, the Malaysian government says it has agreed in principle to resume the search for a passenger jet that vanished 10 years ago. And scientists in Peru discovered 27 new species in the northwest of the country. Around the world, across the UK, you're watching The World Today, and it's here on BBC News. American diplomats are making their first official visit to Damascus in more than a decade for talks with Syria's new Islamist leadership. The diplomats have been meeting representatives of the group which is now effectively in charge of the country, having overthrown President Bashar al-Assad. And we're beginning to get some information about what's come out of that meeting. We can hear more now from Lena Sinjab, our Middle East correspondent in Damascus. She gave me this update on the latest developments. Now, let's bring you more on those breaking news reports we've had from the German city of Magdeburg in the last few minutes. There appears to have been an attack on a Christmas market there. There are reports, according to local media, of several people being dead and others being injured after some sort of vehicle, it's believed a car, drove through barriers into the market. There's been footage on social media showing a number of people lying on the ground, a significant emergency response as you would expect. Just a few more details. The local broadcaster MDR and other local media are saying that it was a car that ploughed into a group of people at that Christmas market in Magdeburg. Several people injured, a few may have been killed, no confirmation of that at the moment. Local police and the local government are not making any comment at the moment, but many police officers and emergency services at the scene. The Christmas market manager has told people to leave the city centre. According to some reports, a car drove straight into the crowd at the Christmas market in the direction of the town hall. That's according to eyewitnesses spoken to by that broadcaster, MDR. We'll bring you more details on that as they come into us in the next few minutes, so do stay tuned. You're watching BBC News. We're going to bring you more on our breaking news now, reporting from Germany, from the German city of Magdeburg in East Germany, where a car, we are hearing, has been driven into a busy Christmas market, ploughing into crowds of people. The latest reports from the local broadcaster MDR saying at least one person killed, according to the police. We'll bring you more on that as it comes into us. The vehicle appears to have been driven at considerable speed. We don't know exactly what sort of vehicle it was. Early reports saying it was a car. Footage on social media has shown a number of people lying on the ground. Some reports that several people have been killed and others have been injured. Yeah, all right, Samantha, thank you very much indeed for bringing us the latest information that you have on this. Just to recap, according to reports, at least one person killed after a car was driven at high speed into a crowd of people at that Christmas market in Magdeburg, a town in the east of Germany, and some reports suggesting multiple injuries as well, between 60 and 80 people, and fears already that the death toll will rise. We'll have more details at the top of the hour, so do stay tuned to BBC News.
Hello there. I'm sure lots of people are still going to be travelling